Okay, today I'd like to talk about clay preparation, meaning wedging your clay. And there are a couple of ways to wedge the clay. Most of the professional people, they wedge the clay we call spiral wedge, and I will explain it, why the people are wedging that way and what's the benefit of wedging spiral wedge. So let me first show you, if you have clay that you cut off and you want to reuse it, how to mix them together. So you can put some softer clay with your dry clay and then mix them together. And since you are recycling your clay, so you might have lots of air bubble in it, and you want to wedge it more thoroughly to eliminate all the air bubble. So, and the best way to wedge is that you have some of the board that is easier to absorb the water. You can wedge it on plywood, but the plywood is not absorbing water very easily. And once you have been wedged for a while, it's getting too wet, so your clay is gonna stick on the plywood. And I do know some people use cement. Cement is also a good wedging board. And it doesn't scratch and doesn't scrape up. It's not like the plaster that sometimes if you are using harder rip to scrape your clay, and then you're hurting the surface of the plaster. So like here, mine is made out of, actually it's from the drywall, and after I use for a while, the paper on the drywall is coming off, and now it's revealing the plaster surface. And if I'm carefully to use it, that will be okay. So the scrap of tool that you use, you want to use a softer one, so you don't cut through that plaster. Okay, and this one is very good, that it's soft and not very sharp in the corner, so it doesn't cut into the plaster. Right, so after roughly wedge it, and then I'm going to show you the spiral wedge there. So I usually kind of roll it one direction and the other direction, and turn it and roll it in the other direction. So it's like 4 directions that I'm rolling it in. But this doesn't prevent from getting the air bubble to wrap in, because you are folding the clay in, so you might trap the air bubble. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the spiral wedging. So it's picking up the clay and give the clay a little bit spin, maybe about 15 degrees. And then when you are pushing it down, the left hand is going that, and then kind of push a little bit forward, but not very hard. Okay, let's a little bit forward. So let me show you my left hand. So pick it up, and then the left hand is pushing forward like that. So you have a little head here, and then the right hand is to stop the head from getting it too wide. So actually, you both hands you want to push down together like that. Okay, that, and then I want to pick it up. Okay, this is the left hand, and pick it up. Keep a clear spin, and then you want to push on the same on top of the indentation. You just push. So that's the left hand, and the right hand again. And just do that repeatedly. Right, left, right, and do it together. Okay. So give the clay about 15 degrees spin, okay, when you lift it up. Okay, so that's called spiral wedge, spiral wedge. And the advantage of it is that the clay is kind of moving around all over. It's like in a spiral way. So the clay is going to move from, if I make a mark, the clay is moving, this dot is moving from here, and then it goes in, and then kind of like a spiral and goes into the inside. So the inside clay, if you have a bubble or some kind of impurity stuff, it will come to the surface. It will pop out for you to pick it up. So that's why the spiral wedge is much easier to get the clays mixed very well, but you need to practice the method. Okay, so let me show this mark. See that it is traveling from my left to my right. Now it's from here to here, and then eventually it's going in there. Right, it comes to here and then goes in, so that you can mix the clay more thoroughly by using spiral wedge method. But it needs to practice. Okay, so one more time. So pick it up and then pick it up and do that. Right. So see that, that's my left hand. Even use one hand, I can still get the spiral method. Right, if I control it very well, and even one hand, right? And you see that the air bubble I just pop, it's come to the surface, and when I push, it pop. So this one hand spiral, okay? And since you have both hands, so it's easier to use both hands to do that. Okay, spiral wedge, and the advantage of it. And also let me show you, if you are, I've been practice. Okay, if you are spinning in different direction, like I'm doing counterclockwise, the clay is moving counterclockwise. But if you are going to do the other way, moving your clay clockwise. Okay, I've been practice, because if I spin in a different direction, actually I'm just like a beginner, so it's not going to be look like my left, spinning clockwise, but still the same principle apply. Right, so this is my right hand push more instead of left hand, and then pick it up and move the clay. And I need to get the clay more spin, right? Again, I'm just like a beginner, but it's the same principle apply. So if I'm making a mark, then the mark is going, moving that direction, right? Right, it's moving away from here to here. It's not as beautiful as my using my left hand to push it more, but the same principle apply. Okay, so if you want to do that same way, just do that. Right, so that's the different direction. Okay, let me do my easier way, because I've been doing this for almost 40 years, so it's easier for me to that my direction, my original direction. Right, so spiral wedge, and then when you want to gather the clay into one piece, okay, So basically the left hand is doing like smoothing the bottom here, smoothing it. And the right hand, you don't push as hard. You want to fold in, so gather the clay all together in one piece. So you do that. And the left hand is smoothing the base, right? And slowly roll it over, okay? You don't want to do it too much, otherwise you might wrap air bubble on the tail. So slowly. Okay, and push that into the end. And so after you're done, it will be like a bullet shape, and ready to go to the wheel, so you have a more circular shape. And for the base that is not even, you just hold your clay and then rotate this way, and the base is flat and ready to go to the wheel. So that's the spiral wedge, and you can practice. And when people are coming to my studio, they want to practice, I give them my model here. So this is the clay that has been base fire, and before I base fire, I cut it. So I hollowed it out, okay. So that's the model, and they can fit the hand right there, right on the indentation, and kind of get used to when they push down, what kind of position they need to get used to it, okay. So that's the model, okay. All right, what if you haven't learned it, okay, that way, and you still wanted to do thoroughly complete the wedge? And usually I teach in my beginner class that if they want to go on the wheel and throw on, what do they do? So this method is called ram's head, because after you roll it, the head looks like a ram. So that's the name for ram's head. And for spiral wedge, you can wedge a larger amount because you are making the tail spin. All you need to do is just focus the top. But when you are using the ram's head, probably you only can do a smaller amount of clay at a time, because you want to also eliminate the air bubble. And let me show you how to do that too, how to eliminate air bubble. So first, get the piece together. And then basically, going to use the center of your both palm, holding the clay on both ends here, right? So the hand like that, and then you're going to use this part, okay, this part to push when you rotate it, okay? So use both hands on the center of your palm, holding both hands, and then just rotate the clay this way, okay? So let me make a mark. So this mark is rotating this way, right? So when you are doing that, you don't wrap the air in it, okay? So your clay is moving that way, but you are only moving the clay that way. You don't get the clay mixing very well yet, because this two end that you haven't pushed it. So if you're gonna wedge this two end, just turn your clay 90 degrees, and then you can wedge. Okay, just change the direction and you can wedge it. So now you wedge all the clay together. The only problem is that if you have air bubble inside, there's no way you can get it out, because you just push it from the outer part. So if you want to get rid of the air bubble, if you have air bubble, okay, especially when you're recycling clay, you might have lots of air bubble in it. Okay, so this is my suggestion, okay? So just get a wire and then cut your clay into in the middle, right? And carefully attach the clay. So when you attach it, you put it attached that way, and make sure you don't have a kind of a cup there to trap the air, okay? So if you have a cup, you might want to push it, okay? So when you are attaching two pieces of clay together, you do that, okay? So there's no air being trapped in the middle, right? So you see that there's the air bubble. I bring it out with the air bubble, right? Okay, and then do that again. And turn and do that again. Right? So my suggestion maybe you're gonna do 4 or 5 times. You cut it, you wedge it, you ram's head, okay, and then you cut it in the middle, and then you do it again. And my suggestion is 4 to 5 times. You should be able to eliminate all the air bubble inside. And for ram's head, okay, let me show you. So, okay, that's the name, okay, because it looks like a ram's head. And you do it again. Try to see. It's much better. See that I try to bend it and I don't see any air bubble coming out from here, right? So joint. Okay. Right, it's good. Still a little bit here, see that? Okay, much better. I try to bend it and see if I can still spot an air bubble. It looks fine. Right. Okay, so I will just leave it like that and then I'm ready to go. So all I need to do is just rotate it into a better circular shape and then smooth the bottom. Right, on the top. Okay, ready to go. So this is for beginner who haven't yet learned the spiral wedge. You can still get your clay nicely done without having air bubble inside. Okay, so the ram's head and a spiral wedge. Okay, thanks for watching.